Hi dear students, now let's continue with gene interactions, and among them we are talking about codominance. Codominance occurs due to the simultaneous expression of both the alleles in heterozygote. Example, if you take the red and white flowers of camellia, that is in a flower itself, both the red color as well as the white color is being expressed. In such a case, it is considered to be as a codominance. Or if you have the inheritance of sickle cell hemoglobin as well as the ABO blood group system in the case of human beings are all examples of codominance. In the case of human beings, now for example, if you have a AB blood group, you have the alleles which are being found of IA as well as IB, and both of them are being found to be equally codominant, and the expression of the IA gene as well as the IB gene will also be happening. And such a case is the example for a codominance. And here, the heterozygote will give rise to a phenotype which is distinctly different from either of the homozygous genotypes. And the F1 heterozygote will produce an F2 progeny in the phenotypic as well as in the genotypic ratio of about 1:2:1. So, let's explore some examples of codominance. The first one which we can have is if you go to look into when a white cow is being crossed with a red cow, okay, the parental character is being found to be white and it is being as well as red, and the hybrid will contain both the characters expressed in the F1 generation. That is, a roan character is being resulted in the case of cattle by crossing the white against the red. So here in this hybrid, you can see that equally both the parental phenotypes are being expressed, and it is being totally different from that of the either of the parent. Another example of codominance is the same as in the case of when a chestnut and white color in the horse are both dominant traits. Here, chestnut horse as well as white horse, they are being found to be dominant traits, and when they are being crossed, you will get a palomino or a golden color type of horse which is being formed. Another example which we come across of codominance is in the case of sickle cell anemia. And you know what is sickle cell anemia. The blood will be considered, or the RBC cell will be what? It will become sickle shaped. And as it becomes sickle shaped, what happens? The erythrocyte will get clot and you get anemia, and there would also be the oxygen binding efficiency of the hemoglobin will also be found to be different. And this is mainly being caused by a particular type of mutation, of course, but you can see that it is a case of codominance also. Now, if the person is being in the case of a normal person, okay, in a normal red blood cells, what happens? HbA and HbA, that is a homozygous type of genotype is being present. But sometimes in the case of sickle cell trait, you can have HbA and HbS. That is when the what happens here? HbA and HbS is the one which is having the sickle cell type of. And you also have another type here, HbA and HbS is the one. And you have a recessive trait, that is the sickle cell anemia is being formed over in the HbS as well as in the HbS type of variety. So this is a type of codominance when you are having this particular variety, HbA and HbS. You can see that some red blood cells will be found to be round in cut, okay, and some would be sickle cell shaped also. Okay, so a case of codominance is being found when you have a sickle cell anemia. Okay, so if you are a normal person, you will have a HbA in which all the blood cells will be found to be red, or not, sorry, round. Okay, and if you are having a genotype of about HbA HbS, what will happen? You will have both round as well as sickle type of blood cells also. So this is a case of codominance, and here you can see that both the type of what that is both the alleles are being expressed, and as a result you will get RBCs of two different types of phenotypes. So that's a case of codominance. Now, what is the difference between incomplete dominance and codominance? In incomplete dominance, each of one of the two alleles is being found to be conspicuous, okay, and it produces a fine mixture of expression of the two alleles, and the effect of the hybrid is intermediate of the two alleles. And you can see that the express phenomenon is new and it has no allele of its own. But in the case of codominance, we can see that both the alleles are equally conspicuous here. That is, both of the alleles will be equally important and they will be expressed. And there is no mixing of the expression of the two alleles because no intermediate forms are being formed. You get both being simultaneously expressed. And both the alleles will produce the effect independently, and the express phenotype is a combination of both the phenotypes and their alleles. Now let's just explore some examples. Now I guess you can tell me, is this incomplete dominance or codominance? This is a case of codominance because both the parental traits are being expressed over here. So this is a case of codominance. Now, is this incomplete dominance or codominance? Here, you can look, both the features of the parental traits are being expressed together here. So, it is a case of codominance. Both the alleles are being equally expressed. Okay. Now, if we go to look into the eyes, okay, you have a brown eye with a green eye. And in this hazel eye, you can see that the characters of brown as well as green there are tinges of green over here to produce a hazel type of eye. So it is a case of codominance. Now look into this. You have a pink flower as well as, a red flower with a pink flower, and you result in a pink flower. A red and white results in a pink flower. So this is a case of what? It's a case of incomplete dominance. And in incomplete dominance, what happens? A blending of this character, an intermediate hybrid color is being formed over here. And of course, when in the next generation, they would split. There would be red as well as white. There would be pink also. So this is a case of incomplete dominance. If it was codominance, you would see red as well as white together, but you would not get an intermediate phenotype. Now look over here. You are having a straight hair and a curly hair, and you get a wavy hair over here. This is a case of what? It's an incomplete dominance because what happens? This character and this character, something in between these two are coming. So that's a case of incomplete dominance. I hope now you got an idea of what is a complete dominance, what is an incomplete dominance, as well as a codominance. Thank you for the session.